Hello, this is Science Fiction Snob, and today on Worth Watching, we are going to be discussing the science fiction movie 57 Seconds. 57 Seconds, in addition to being the nickname that my wife uses to refer to me, is also a 2023 science fiction thriller starring Josh Hutcherson. He's the PETA guy from Hunger Games, and Morgan Freeman, who is Morgan Freeman. There will be spoilers, so be warned. The premise of this movie, Josh Hutcherson thwarts an attack from some sort of assassin or something on Morgan Freeman, who is he's a visionary tech guru. He goes to this visionary. He sneaks into this visionary tech guru's. He wants to talk to him. He sneaks into it in the backstage of his presentation that he's doing. It's kind of very cult-like. We're unsure of what exactly this tech guru is selling. He's talking about, complete and total health, and I'm going to change the world and all this stuff. And he's having these meetings and that kind of thing. But it's never really clear what exactly is going on and what he's actually going to do. So anyway, PETA goes in the back of this thing. He wants to talk to the guy. He thwarts an attack on Morgan Freeman. Someone's trying to assassinate him or something. When he, the guy thanks him, walks off, and he drops something, and it's a ring. PETA picks up the ring, and he finds that it gives him the ability to move back in time 57 seconds. So he decides that he's going to use this to get revenge on this drug company that killed his sister. So that's the premise of the movie. Now, not a bad premise. It starts out with the usual stuff. Just think, what would you do if you had this ability to go back in time by 57 seconds? First thing he does, he goes to a casino, makes money on the roulette table. And then he gets the girl, he picks up the girl, he does something wrong, goes back 57 seconds, doesn't do that, goes back 57, keeps doing that until he, gets the girl. He also, that's the initial, finding out how this thing works. From there, he comes up with his plan. He meets the bad guy, saves the bad guy, the head of this drug company, and he also uses eventually uses the ring to get some documents that the bad guy has in his office. Sorry, I should go back. He from meeting the bad guy, he gets a job with him. He impresses him, and then he uses that to, try to infiltrate this bad guy and get, the information that he needs. These scenes are, fairly well done, and I enjoyed those aspects of the movie. The scene is one of the scenes where he knows the documents are in this safe in the guy's home, so he goes in there, and the guy's assistant or number 2 woman is there. First he threatens her, and then goes back in time, and then tries again, and shoots her, tortures her. She gives him the number. He goes back in time, and he goes in and opens the thing. It's the wrong number. He goes back. So it's kind of funny. It's kind of interesting. It's reasonably well done. The end of the movie is the final scene. He's on the plane with the bad guy. The bad guy is finding out that, he's got this ring, and that's how he's been doing the things that he's doing. The plane even crashes, and that's when Morgan Freeman he's there as well. And then Morgan Freeman asks him and says, I gave you this ring because, I need somebody to, sort of be the moral check on what we're going to do with our company. So I gave you this for some reason in order to see, and I want to offer you a job. And the guy says, no, I don't want your job. I'm not doing it. And that's pretty much the movie. So overall, I've found 57 Seconds to be disappointing. That's one word that I would use to describe it. A fairly good, reasonable idea with the 57 seconds, but the rest of the movie does not live up to the premise. It's a, like I said, it's a good good concept, but it's not really science fiction. It's more of an action movie. There is no exploration of the theme. Like, what if everybody had the ability? What if everybody got one of these rings? What if everybody had the ability to go back for 57 seconds? Well, how would that affect our society? That's kind of more what science fiction usually looks at. This is just an action movie with a cool little thing. The Morgan Freeman is they paid him a fortune. They didn't put him in the movie much. It's just sort of weird, right? He's this guru. We never know exactly what the heck that is so-called, magical. And at this point, it is magic because we don't know anything about it. What his his health thing that he's going to do? He's basically. It's suggested that it's some sort of revolution, and I assume it has some sort of tie into this ring that lets you go back, or the ability to go back in time or something, but it's never explained. You're like, what the heck's going on? What else? Oh, Morgan Freeman travels around with this guy who stands beside him, who's got these, they look like, glowing golden tape that goes around his head and all these various things. I mean, I'm assuming that the guy is an android, and he's sort of some, say, kind of hyper intelligent computer or android or something like that, because Morgan Freeman kind of looks over at him and he looks at him sometimes and gives him these looks like the first thing I thought when I saw it is that it's some sort of this guy somehow has worked out all the possibilities for time, what can happen in any situation, and he's sort of giving him a hint as to what to do to, this is going the way we want it to go, or something like that. But this thing is like, just imagine this guy's walking around with somebody that looks like an android, and these glowing things glow on occasion and stuff. And I'm like, there's no other androids in this universe. There's no other anyone else is walking around with a giant, humanoid supercomputer walking beside them. Who is that? What is this guy? And no one else has it. So I'm assuming that the time frame seems to be now, that there's no other hint about that. I mean, if this guy has a hyper intelligent android that walks around with him, and that already is a breakthrough that is world changing. Why would you have to invent a health thing? Just sell those androids to people. Like, what is going on? What is this guy doing here? So, yeah, I mean, what is going on in this movie? What is the deal? So, as I said, in the end, Morgan Freeman offers him a job. He says, "No way, I'm taking this job." It's not even clear why he doesn't take it. I guess because he had a bad experience with this ring, because he he got the girl and he gets some money and he gets revenge on these guys. Oh yeah, don't ask me, how did they survive the stupid plane crash? I mean, anyway. They survived the plane crash. So he refuses the job and, walks away into the sunset. And I'm just like, well, what the hell was the point of the movie? It was just a vehicle for a bunch of, cool action scenes where they could go over it again. And that was good. I mean, I did enjoy that aspect of it, but it's just, if they cut if they took all the action scenes and spliced them together in a 20-minute reel, I mean, that would be just as enjoyable as the entire movie. In fact, more enjoyable, because you wouldn't be wasting your time with the rest of it. So, as I said, good concept, poorly, that aspect of it is well executed, but the rest of it didn't make any sense. Disappointing. I looked on Rotten Tomatoes, and trust that as you will. It's got an audience score of 49 and a much lower score for the critics. I'd say that my view is that 49 is that's a little generous. I would give it lower than that. So disappointing, not worth watching. Don't waste your time.
Disappointing?